Good morning and a very warm welcome. You're watching Janata Television and this is the English Bulletin with me, Sushant. The top stories first. Coronavirus infection reaches the 208,000 mark in Nepal. Total death toll climbs to 1,215. Tourism Minister Yogesh Batra affirms tourism sector gradually progressing in Nepal. Qatari prince affirms he will visit Nepal again. IRD demands 3-generation details for gold buyers, claims the check will help stop money laundering. Tigray forces in Ethiopia launch rockets at neighboring Eritrea. No casualties reported so far. And France booked their place in the Nations League final by defeating Portugal. Germany close to qualification as Spain miss out. And now the news in detail. The fourth day of Tihar is celebrated by worshipping the oxen. The day is also called Govardhan Puja, named after a hill mentioned in the Hindu mythology. Today, the Newar community also observes the Ma Puja and welcomes the Newari New Year. The oxen are historically used by the locals in the rural areas for helping with crop plantation. They are worshipped by offering prayers, good food and by decorating them with garlands. The Govardhan hill, mentioned in the Hindu mythology, is worshipped by the people by making a large stack of cow dung. Today, the Newari community also welcomes the Newari New Year, Nepal Samvat 1140. They also celebrate Ma Puja, the worship of the self. In the Newari community, the eldest woman will conduct a ceremony where everyone will offer prayers for the well-being and long and healthy life for themselves. The government has confirmed 1,946 new cases of coronavirus across the country during the latest rounds of tests. According to the Ministry of Health and Population, the total caseload of coronavirus in the country has now climbed to 208,229, while the number of active cases has decreased to 36,452 from the overnight tally of 37,912. Meanwhile, the death toll from coronavirus has climbed to 1,215 across the country, with the confirmation of 13 more fatalities yesterday. Similarly, the Kathmandu Valley witnessed 835 cases, 456 male and 379 females during the latest round of tests. So far, 170,632 patients infected by coronavirus have recovered from the disease in Nepal. Nepal is currently among the top 34 countries that have been most affected by the pandemic. The demand for electricity was projected to be 1150 megawatt on the day of Lakshmi Puja. The Nepal Electricity Authority had projected that the demand will not increase much as the industries consuming more electricity will be closed on the day of Lakshmi Puja. According to NEA, the demand was expected to increase by 45 megawatt this year as compared to last year. According to NEA, the demand in Kathmandu Valley is higher than other districts. It is estimated that 300 megawatt of electricity was consumed in Kathmandu Valley alone. According to NEA, the industry will not be able to operate on the day of Lakshmi Puja with loads only from the LED lights in all the houses and the street lights. According to NEA, arrangements had been made to manage the supply up to 1,300 megawatts at most, which was successfully arranged. The NEA had stated that the demand will be managed by importing up to 150 megawatt of electricity from India and by producing electricity from the NEA and private sector hydropower houses. Last year, the demand for electricity on the day of Lakshmi Puja was 1,105 megawatts. Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation Yogesh Batra informed Nepal's tourism sector has been gradually taking its pace. Minister Batra's statement came after his meeting with Qatar's Royal Prince Sheikh Mohammed bin Abdullah Al Thani and his team. Sheikh Abdullah and team recently returned to Kathmandu after successfully climbing Ama Dablam mountain. Although the risk of coronavirus infection has not reduced in the country, the visit of diplomats and important persons from abroad symbolizes that Nepal's tourism sector is trying hard for a comeback, Minister Bhattarai added. With the government's decision to open the tourism sector lately, foreign tourists have been arriving in Nepal. Sheikh Mohammed informed he has been visiting Nepal for a long time and assured he will come back in the future. Stating that he is in love with Nepal's villages and mountains, Sheikh Mohammed affirmed he will come to Nepal every year. Sheikh and his team successfully climbed Mount Amadablam on Wednesday. Free food will no longer be distributed in Kathmandu's open streets starting 17th November. Considering the risk of health sector, high risk of infection and protection of human rights, the free food service will be closed. Such service, however, will restart after following health protocols and availability of closed areas. The organizations providing free food service and Kathmandu Metropolitan City reached an agreement to close the free food service starting 17th November. The organizations will resume the service after proper arrangement. And now the news from the economic front. The customer who buys gold and silver worth more than rupees 1 million has to disclose 3 generations of details. The Inland Revenue Department has issued instructions to the companies and firms dealing in precious metals or commodities, stating that the company should keep the details of the identity of such customers if they purchase more than 1 million worth of valuables at a time or in a day. The department has made an arrangement to keep the identity of the customer even in the purchase of valuable goods to prevent money laundering. The department has issued a directive to introduce customer identification. It has also been mentioned that companies and firms dealing in valuables should also identify with a high-ranking person. Welcome back, and now the international news. At least 3 rockets have been fired from the hostile Tigray region of Ethiopia towards the capital of Eritrea, BBC reported, citing local media and diplomats. According to BBC, explosions were heard in Asmara as several rockets landed on the outskirts of the city. However, there are no immediate reports of injury. Tigray's ruling party has been locking horns with Ethiopia's federal government and had earlier threatened to attack. Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF) said it had targeted 2 sites in the Amhara region on Friday and warned of further strikes. Reuters quoted Tigray's leader Debretsion Gebremichael, who on Tuesday said that Eritrea had sent troops over the border in support of Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed's government. The leader, however, provided no evidence to back his statement. Reuters said it was able to contact Eritrea's Foreign Minister Osman Saleh Mohammed. The foreign minister reportedly denied his country's involvement and said, "We are not part of the conflict." At least 10 people have died and 7 others have suffered severe burns after a fire broke out at a hospital treating COVID-19 patients in Romania. The blaze broke out in the intensive care unit of a public hospital in the Romanian city of Piatra Neamț, BBC reported. The blaze on Saturday evening has also critically injured 7 others, including a doctor who tried to rescue the patients. The doctor has suffered serious burns and is receiving treatment but remains critical, BBC added. BBC has also cited Romania's health minister, Nelu Tataruoho, informed the local media that the fire was most likely triggered by a short circuit. Mr. Tataru said that other COVID patients being treated at the hospital were being transferred to another facility in the city of Lassi. The injured doctor, who is said to have suffered severe burning to most of his body, was being transferred to a capital to the capital Bucharest by a military plane, local media reported. You're watching Janata Bulletin, and now the latest from the world of sports. Chelsea's N'Golo Kante scored the winning goal for France as they defeated holders Portugal in the Nations League on Saturday and booked their place in the finals. Kante, back in the starting 11 after coming on as a sub in the friendly game against Finland, bundled in from close range in the second half. The result means France go top of Group A3 with only one game remaining, while Sweden's 2-1 win over Croatia in Saturday's other match means there remains a battle to avoid relegation. In other matches, Germany defeated Ukraine by 3-1 with Leroy Sané scoring in the 23rd minute, while Timo Werner scored either side of the halftime. The Germans now only need a draw with Spain in Seville on Tuesday to win the group. Sergio Ramos had 2 penalties saved on the night. He became the most capped male European player as Spain drew with Switzerland in the Nations League. Spain's 1-1 draw with Switzerland means Germany now just need 1 point instead of 3 to qualify for the semi-finals next October. We're at the end of Janata Bulletin, and the headlines once again. Coronavirus infection reaches the 208,000 mark in Nepal. Total death toll climbs to 1,215. Tourism Minister Yogesh Patra affirms tourism sector gradually progressing in Nepal. Qatari Prince affirms he will visit Nepal again. IRD demands 3-generation details for gold buyers. Claims the check will help stop money laundering. Tigray forces in Ethiopia launch rockets at neighboring Eritrea. No casualties reported so far. And France booked their place in the Nations League final by defeating Portugal. Germany close to qualification as Spain miss out. And that's all from the English News Desk for today. You can follow Janata Television and our programs on various social media platforms, including on our website janatasamachar.com. Keep watching Janata Television. Namaste.